What if Goldengo was in Gen 6 OU? Now, this is the one that is kind of surprised me the most. Yesterday, after I finished with the whole Roaring Moon situation in Johto, there was reports of more paranormal activity in Kalos. And I go over there, and I've been hearing reports of Ghost and Steel types, which at first I wasn't that worried about, because I was like, okay, so there's more Aegislash. It's already a pretty popular Kalos Pokemon, and it was banned to Ubers. So how much damage could it really cause? But then I saw Stealth Rocks and Spikes everywhere, and I knew exactly what the problem was. Goldengo in Generation 6. Oh boy. I'm sure a lot of you would not be happy to see this guy. He's already a pretty controversial Pokemon in Generation 9. And even though I think he's fine, I don't have a problem with him. Good as Gold is, it's one of the abilities of all time. There's no denying that. But how good would Goldengo be? Most of the Gen 6 community is too scared to even think about the idea of Defog and Rapid Spin getting nerfed in their generation. So that's why it's up to me to figure this out, along with why all the other stuff is happening in Sinnoh, Hoenn, etc. And I think I'm starting to get to the bottom of this, but I'll go over that later. Let's see how good Goldengo is. Now, I'm not sure if I need to bother going over the stats, because he is a very recent and very popular Pokemon, and he's been relevant in the Gen 9 competitive scene for literally the entire time now. So I won't bother going over his strengths and weaknesses as a Pokemon, because for the most part, you already know. He has good stats, which are good enough for pretty much everything. Good enough to be a tank with Recover Nasty Plot sets, good enough to be a good Choice Scarfer, good enough to be an all-out attacker. He's pretty well-rounded. But unlike other Generation 9 Pokemon, I feel like not only is he not made to be too overpowered, but also even his ability and his signature move, I feel like aren't the worst in the world. Let's just compare him to the cover legendaries real quick. So let's just go over Koraidon. Look at these stats. 135 in speed. His ability is basically, oh, by the way, passive weather summoning, but also your attack gets a boost from it. And then his signature move does extra damage if it's super effective, while it's already based 100 with 100% accuracy. Yeah, in comparison, Goldengo doesn't seem anywhere near as bad, and I don't think that's a problem. Although what could potentially be a problem is how he would do in the Gen 6 metagame, because there's no Great Tusk, and there's also Spikes and Stealth Rocks as there are in other generations, and your main way of usually dealing with them is, I would say, probably either Defog users, let's say Tornadus, or you're using Rapid Spin users like Excadrill. But there's also no heavy duty boots, so hazards are there. Your Pokemon are going to take damage. It doesn't matter what you do, unless you get them off. You have to always keep in mind, take into account Stealth Rock damage at the very least whenever you're doing damage calcs. So having a Pokemon like Goldengo there, where he just forces entry hazards to stay in the field, yeah, that's probably going to change some stuff. Not to mention the Steel and Ghost typing is just all around just good typing, both defensively, offensively, and just good for just the meta in Generation 6. That's part of the reason why Aegislash got banned, along with it just being a broken Pokemon in general. So I'm not going to bother going over the moves, because they're all amazing, and for the most part, you guys can probably already guess what would be good depending on what you want. You want an Air Balloon set, you're probably going to want... Oh wait, this actually might be a little bit different, because now I'm remembering that there's no Great Tusk. There's no Great Tusk, but there is a much stronger Landorus and Aegislash, Excadrill. So maybe Dazzling Gleam might not be as important, but I could potentially see Focus Blast being used more. or you just rely on the good old Make It Rain and Shadow Ball. But interesting. Didn't really think about it. But yeah. It might feel like a completely different vibe just from the different Pokemon around. Because yes, a lot of them are the same. You still got Breloom, Azumarill, and I'm sure there's others that are good in... Oh yeah, Rotom Rosh. And there's probably others I can think about, but I just am brain farting on. But it's interesting because, especially with that Steel typing and with the signature move, Make It Rain, which of course we're going to give to him. Think about some of the most common Pokemon in Generation 6. You got Pokemon like Clefable, Ferrothorn, Chansey. Very defensive, very annoying Pokemon. That Goldengo not only walls, but can threaten them pretty much immediately. Or for Chansey you need Focus Blast, but even then, like boosting up on Nasty Plots and using like Make It Rain doesn't sound bad either. But mostly think about Clefable. Think about how much damage a Make It Rain could do to Clefable. Yes, so it's obviously not preferable to have Energy Hazard stay there. But for you watching right now, would it be worth it if it meant Clefable is nowhere near as good? Let's look at some of the replays and find out. Also, it's kind of weird that it already shows the Pokemon beforehand. I like it more with the other generations, older generations with no team preview, so you don't actually see what they have. Disappointing, but I just wanted to start with Landorus, the boy. Earthquake probably would have done enough, if not even kill it. But I just wanted to show, showing with knockoff, just to be like an extra middle finger to Goldengo. Ironically enough, the matchup might not be as bad as it is with Great Tusk, because Great Tusk doesn't have, or not Great Tusk, Landorus. Because at least when I tried looking, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have default yet. I think that's Generation 7. So with Great Tusk, you can like immediately threaten Goldengo with like knockoff or Earthquake, and then like immediately get the hazards up. But I'm not sure that's the case of Landorus. But this one I really want to see, because look at this awful Clefable. It's dead, and I'm glad, because Clefable was literally my least favorite Pokemon of all time. It looks stupid, it plays stupid, it's not fun to use, not fun to play against. So I would take 1,000,000 spike damage, Stealth Rock, and my Toxic Spikes if it meant no more Clefable. I've been enjoying it not being a thing in Gen 9 OU. I do not have a problem. Also, this one is funny. Lopunny has Scrappy, so that fighting weakness becomes relevant. This is like one of the most unwinnable matches I've ever seen, and I kind of wish that we had this interaction in Generation 9. I think a lot of people wouldn't think Goldengo was anywhere near as bad if we had a good Scrappy fighting type. And is Lopunny the only good Scrappy fighting type? You gotta tell me in the comments. And this one I also find interesting. Bisharp without Eviolite. There's no King Gambit to worry about. So it's a matchup that can go either way for the most part. If Goldengo doesn't have Focus Blast, it's probably screwed. But it's like not bad-ish, I think. Because Focus Blast isn't inaccurate moves, even if he does have it, and it's like a Choice Scarf set. Bisharp might still have a chance, but I'm not really sure. It's probably a matchup where you don't go like into it until you scout out what set the Goldengo actually is. And then with Chansey, even without Focus Blast, you can probably do good. But I just wanted to show how much Focus Blast really did. And I forgot, this is not Generation 1. Seismic Toss does not work on Ghost types anymore. So Chansey pretty much has no way of really hurting Goldengo. That's pretty nice. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. And I mean, I haven't bothered doing the calcs for like Make It Rain, so you can like probably do that yourself if you want to know how much it takes to like quickly take out a Chansey. I guess without like Nasty Plant, the matchup is probably more in, well, not really in Chansey's favor because it can't do anything to Goldengo. So at that point, it just becomes a stalemate. because GHOLDENGO probably can't just load it down with those regular moves because Chansey can always heal. But Also, I kind of forgot that with custom games, the Pokemon are already Mega, but it doesn't really matter. Charizard's faster. So maybe a Choice Scarf set could potentially threaten some of the variants, but you don't know what Charizard's going to be until after it Mega Evolves. And with both of them, they just outspeed base GHOLDENGO, and they just both have the ability to one-shot GHOLDENGO. So it's probably an unwinnable matchup either way, especially against Charizard X. Because at least with Y, you can use Power Gem or Thunderbolt on Choice Scarf and potentially get a KO. You just don't have that luck with Charizard X. But it doesn't really matter, they're both unwinnable for the most part. But not equally unwinnable, but this is on Diancie's part. Obviously having a quad, weakness to make it rain, not gonna go well for you. Nope, it's really bad. And I guess I am thinking about it now. Gen 6 is the gen that's really infamous for having a lot of status. That's part of the reason why for Generation 7, they nerfed Prankster by having dark types be immune to it. So having a Pokemon like GHOLDENGO really does make that more interesting if you think about it. I guess it's another reason to say that GHOLDENGO in Generation 6 might make the meta more interesting. Something to think about. You can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And then Excadrill, this one really surprised me because I used the Air Balloon set, but I kind of didn't realize that Excadrill just outsped. I seriously doubt that Focus Blast would have hit or O-code Excadrill without a crit. But either way, this might be the real Great Tusk of Gen 6 and not Landorus. I don't really know. But I do have a feeling that GHOLDENGO might actually feel Excadrill more than Landorus now. And another one which we can actually see in Generation 9, Ferrothorn. It might have knockoff, but that's the only thing that you could possibly use it than GHOLDENGO. It was a boring matchup. Just very boring. The Ferrothorn could not do anything to GHOLDENGO. Even if GHOLDENGO doesn't have Nasty Plant, it can just spam Shadow Balls until the Ferrothorn dies. Not much to talk about here. But I do think Ferrothorn would deserve something like that at an actual environment. And this one's interesting. GHOLDENGO versus pre-nerf Gengar. A matchup I never thought about before, but obviously it's very much in Gengar's favor. He is faster and can just murder with Shadow Ball. Shame that Gengar doesn't have Levitate back. I feel like he deserves it. But does anyone think Gengar would really break the meta? I doubt it. And another interesting one with the Magnezone. Because GHOLDENGO doesn't have to really deal with Magnezone. So never has to deal with a Pokemon that just traps him because he's a Steel type. But with Focus Blast, he can handle it pretty well. And Hidden Power didn't do that much either, actually. So now I'm wondering, even with just Shadow Ball, the match could just go either way. But I couldn't really tell you. And then next off, we have... what's it called again? A Manaphy. I don't know why I was being funny. It was really right there. But this one surprised me. Both can set up, but Scald doesn't actually kill. And I'm assuming you would rather use Scald rather than Surf, even though Surf has more power. Which I am kind of glad we don't have to deal with Scald in Gen 9. But I'm worried that with the DLC, we might have to. But I can't really tell which is actually better, because GHOLDENGO doesn't always have Thunderbolt. So maybe Manaphy has it better, or maybe Manaphy got unlucky with the damage range. I don't know. What I do know is that Mega Manectric looks really stupid, but it has fire moves, so that's nice. Manectric still takes a lot of damage from, let's say, a Shadow Ball. But Manectric's faster, so it's probably better. But, I honestly don't really see much of a reason to use Manectric over other Megas. But I believe he's OU, so there has to be a reason for it. This one also really surprised me. Metagross does a lot of damage with Earthquake. And that wasn't Specs. That was not Specs GHOLDENGO. So how the heck did that one shot? I have no idea. And against Talonflame, I couldn't find defog on Talonflame either. So, like, I could have sworn he had it, though. Either way, he just outspeeds and one-shots with Flare Blitz. So that's rough on Gholdengo. Sucks to be you, buddy. Choice Scarf can do pretty well there. But you probably just don't want to mess with it either way. Because same generation with Priority Rayford. So they might be able to revenge kill you anyways. And then Weavile before it got nerfed. Now, unlike Landers, where it's still a pretty bad matchup, but it's like still something that Gholdengo could like theoretically take on. Yeah, no. Gholdengo is so lucky he did not have to deal with Weavile. Because Weavile would have been a huge threat. Oh well. Like, maybe like one day they'll like give Weavile what he needs again. But even if they do, like, buff him, is he even going to be better than Baxcalibur or King Gambit? I feel like his roles with an Ice type and a Dark type is, I don't know, I just don't think it's as good as it used to be. And for this last one, I wanted to show off Tyranitar. Because not only is there Mecha Tyranitar, but there's also, you know, Pursuit, which Gholdengo has never had to deal with before. So I feel like this would be pretty funny to show it, and I could have sworn that I had Charizard be the second Pokemon. I don't remember it being Punkaboo. That's weird. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Because, obviously, like, the battle just ended after Gholdengo gets killed with Pursuit anyways. So let's just get into it, shall we? Now, Sandstream's nice, and having boosted special defense is really nice for Tyranitar. Meaning that it takes that Make It Rain. Well, it can survive it, and it outspeeds Gholdengo, surprisingly. And Gholdengo tries to run away, but no. No, sorry, buddy. Like, you're so lucky you didn't have to do a Pursuit. Pursuit? I think that's how you say it. Gholdengo, I feel like, for a lot of people, would be much more manageable if that move was still in the game. But it's not. That's unfortunate. And that's pretty much the end of this replay, but I guess it's still going, so. Just because I am evil and cynical, let's just watch the Punkaboo get killed, shall we? Space. Wait, what? Excuse me? What am I looking at exactly? What? How the heck did it just do that? It's just a Punko. Whoa, wait a second here. I'm pretty sure this isn't right. I'm pretty sure Punkaboo didn't have these moves back when it was in Generation 6. It was garbage. It still was. How is it just one-shotting them? How does it know these moves? I'm pretty sure it doesn't learn these moves. This is stupid. Okay. Nice. Okay. There we go. You gotta love to see it. Latios, you can still take it on. Huh. You know what? I'm just gonna pretend like I did not see that. I did not see that. No, I didn't. Here's the tiers I made, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. You already know how it is. I'm not super knowledgeable with these tiers, so a lot of this stuff I just don't know, and I just don't have the time to make replays on all of these. So that's about it. I wish I could stay here longer, but what is this? I need to start looking into something. This could be an issue.